So this is part 2 of the Furby video. More of your haunting toy stories.
I am utterly overwhelmed at the response to that bloody Furby video of mine, not to mention all the fan art that it's prompted.
I do, nom nom nom.
It's also brought up so many incredible stories from yourselves that of course
the Wally toy, the Tickle Me Elmo. Oh man.
Part 2. We'll be looking at all manner of corrupted toys in this one, but we will just start by looking quickly again at our old friends, the Furbies. One time in the middle of the night, I woke up to mine saying, "Hide, hide!"
Oh my god, Jesus. Man, if I heard that as a kid, I would think it was the end times. I would think I needed to, like, retreat to a bunker.
And over. My mum hates Furbies. She was babysitting these kids who had a Furby once. She went to read them a story, and the Furby yelled, "Boring!"
Oh man. Well, I mean, I didn't say it, the Furby did. You could try to ground him, but I don't know how that works, Mom. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
My Furby walked into a washing machine and one of its eyes popped out. Now it just constantly says hungry every
Oh my god. Not the one-eyed Furby yelling hungry repeatedly.
4 seconds. Never had one myself, but a friend of mine did, and his was able to pick up radio stations briefly. One time it got a traffic alert on a music station and just repeated, "Back up," in a super deep voice for the rest of the day. I had a
back up. Back up. Back up. Back up.
Furby once. It disappeared from my room one day, and I've never seen it again. I live in constant
Oh, well, they did say in the previous video that Furbies liked playing hide and seek.
I had a Furby that randomly died one night while my family was travelling, letting out a headache-inducing squeal for several minutes before we were able to pull out the batteries. After that, the Furby would only turn on randomly and speak in a broken, low voice. It was like Goofy talking through a cheese grater.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
Goofy talking through a cheese grater. That is an astonishing analogy. Obviously,
yeah, I was gonna say that that string of words evokes fear in me. Okay, like I feel sympathy.
Unfortunately, we've got no way of actually knowing what that would sound like.
Oh no.
Gosh, so good.
I'll never forget that week that my Furby woke up every night for 12 days at exactly 2 in the morning and would sing like a maniac because the battery compartment eroded. I remember when my Furby started going rogue, the only way to get it to switch back personalities again was to put it in a room and only play jazz.
Oh no. Do you like jazz, Furby?
Music. Me and my friend were freaking out over my Furby Connect because its voice was glitching out for some reason. Then one of us yelled, "You're a demon!" at it. And the second the sentence ended, it just turned off. Black eyes and everything.
Oh,
my Furby hasn't ever done anything weird.
He knew he had been found out.
She's sat on my windowsill for years and hasn't made a sound. That's still weird. Okay, so I still have this Furby, and one of the personalities it could have was a ninja. Me and my parents tried for hours to get it to change, but when it did change, it changed to the clown. As for the awful part, over the last few years, it has triggered the awakening, as we call it. Last time it was in the middle of a party and it terrified the guests, its drunken voice screaming about eggs and bacon.
Not the eggs and bacon screaming right when the guests are over. Oh man, the Furby, he's experiencing the awakening again.
I had a Furby as a kid, claimed its name was Melon. One day when we were packing up to move house, I found my Furby. It proceeded to chant pancakes over and over until the batteries were taken.
Well, did you give it pancakes or no?
Now, my younger sister used to have a How to Train
The demonic Kirby demands sustenance of the pancake variety.
Your Dragon toy that was similar to a Furby. Almost every night at any time between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. it would begin to loudly and very deeply grunt, wheeze and heavily breath for up to 15 minutes at a time.
Oh my god. It's practicing its mating call.
I had this weird-ass toy called a Boohbah when I was a kid.
What the is that? What is that? I guess there had to be attempts of a similar nature, like in the same vein as Furbies, you know, like once one company saw Furbies succeeding, like other people had to try their best shots. Like, because think about it, Furbies were really popular, okay? And they were so cursed as it was. And they were like the pinnacle of the successful, unnerving toy at the time. So what's scary is there had to have been B- attempts into the same market, and this must be it.
I was a kid. He was orange and was just like a Furby if furries were scarier and from the darkest corner of hell. One day its batteries died, but was still kind of juiced, so he malfunctioned and wouldn't turn off. So occasionally, whether I was playing in my room during the day or trying to sleep at night, I would hear this creepy-ass, terrifying, radio-crackling on and off demon voice winding down slowly while singing Boohbah.
Oh no! Did these, like, not have the ability to turn off as well? Oh my god, chat, this is so scary. What the No on-off switch. Push left hand to activate. So I guess you could like make him talk with the if you click the hand, but you can't. There's technically not a way to turn it off. Like, why? What is the reason behind never being able to turn these things off? They do look like a creepier Teletubby. Why would you want one of these as a kid? I would not. Oh god, who is the target demographic?
Bloody hell. Weird question, but I wonder if this person ever actually shat themselves when this was happening. Before anyone asks, yes, I did shit myself from time to time when it went off.
I can understand. I saw the what it looked like. It was terrifying. Unironically, I could see the Boohbah being in Elden Ring.
I used to have a teddy bear called Pudding as a baby that would sing happy birthday to you every time you pushed his belly. Recently found him in a cupboard, pushed his belly, sounded like he was being waterboarded. Had this kookaburra stuffed animal with the most nightmarish voice box. It would always end up down the side of my bed underneath a bunch of other toys. So in the middle of the night, I'd turn in my bed and squish the pile of toys, and sometimes that damn kookaburra would go off for the night, and all I'd hear is,
oh god. See, talking toys are always bad idea.
Minion that spoke when you squeezed it, and then in the middle of the night I just heard banana from my bedside drawer.
Not
I used to have a
banana.
Build-A-Bear, and those voice chips get weird when the batteries are running low. I accidentally stood on one and it called me a whore. The original voice was an owl hooting, but I guess that sounds weird when slow and cut off. I had the mistake of falling asleep with a Zuzu pet back in the day, and it suddenly turned.
Oh yeah, I feel like I saw these at some point on like a commercial. Bro, there's a new line that was showcased at New York Toy Fair in 2023 and made its debut release in April of 2024. And it's this one. This one's actually the new one. I want to see one of the old ones. This guy, he's having a type of hair day.
The day, and it suddenly turned on and ripped some of my hair off. I had a toy that was a phone. You push buttons and it says stuff. Anyway, I pressed 3 and it was supposed to say I love you, but it was distorted. I distinctly remember being scared of the toy. My brother, who was 4 years older than me, pinned me down and would hold the toy phone up to my ear and spam press 3 until I cried. I remember his argument was, but she loves you. To this day, I cringe hearing I love you in a high-pitched, almost grandma-like way.
Oh my god, you traumatized your sister, Jesus.
We bought one of those toy lightsabers that would let you make a custom
standard
sound
brother
go
behavior.
off whenever you swang it. And some kid in the store had previously yelled fuck into it, and we weren't able to change the custom sound for some damn reason. So when my nephew received it as a birthday present and tried it out, he was certainly surprised.
Oh wow. That's so great.
Fuck! 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 One time my Bop It started playing itself. I think it got a score of 20 or 30, and it still haunts me.
Oh my god. The Bop It was like, you keep getting a low score. I'm gonna have to do this on my own.
To this day. One time I shoved a towel dinosaur headfirst in my rear. One time during a thunderstorm, every electric toy in the room lit up and made sound all at once due to the light.
God, yeah, nope. Your house is possessed. You gotta move out. All the toys, they gotta go. Ain't no way.
One time, when my sister and I were kids, we were playing with my Penelope the Talking Dragon toy that was from a Barbie movie. One day, late at night in our kitchen, we were playing with it, and it always...
All right, let me look this one up. I need to visual... I need to know. This is for science. It's like a weird plush dragon with lipstick.
Had this cheery female voice when you pushed its stomach, which has a button that activated its voice lines. Out of nowhere, without the button being pressed, it said in a deep, slow, manly voice, "You're so beautiful," which wasn't one of its...
Oh my god, please no. You know, my Penelope calls me beautiful. Does yours? No? Maybe you're not pretty then. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trolling.
Voice lines. It scared the heck out of me and my sister, and I still have it to this day, about 19 or so years later, and it has never said that again. My sister used to have a toy...
Well, I mean, it figured it'd shoot its shot, and when it didn't work, it figured it wasn't worth it to try again, you know?
Story doll that would speak when you'd pull the string on the back. Though after a few years, it had stopped saying almost all of its lines. All but one, a very distorted yee-haw that would last anywhere between 2 seconds and half an hour.
Oh
I'd
my
have won it
God.
as well.
He's yeeing and hawing. That sounds like an epic toy, man.
A decade later, we found it and he just started screaming. He wouldn't stop until we bashed his head on wood.
Oh
I
my
don't have
God.
a Furby, but I had a Carly doll for my Carly. However,
There was iCarly dolls? That sounds so terrifying. Dolls based on real people are so creepy.
voice box broke and all Carly ever did was moan in pleasure every time I pressed a button on her chest. Nothing. Oh yeah.
Oh my lord, no! Make it stop.
Matt Rose here. I'm just giving my personal apologies if you're watching this video and someone just walked in at that exact moment. I was a spoiled kid, and so one year for Christmas I got a Fur Real Friends butterscotch.
Oh yeah, the Furry Friends phase. They had like cats and dogs and all that. This one is cursed though.
However, during its final days, the material on the horse's face ripped. I watched the skin and fur of the horse fall off.
Oh no! Now you're just seeing the machinations of the horse at work underneath.
Didn't stop there though, it kept moving its head from side to side like normal. You could hear the whirs from the machine and the disfigured gnawing sounds it made.
Oh my god, that's so hilarious. How does that happen? Well, because, like, okay, so they have the robot underneath it, right? And then they just have, like, a layer of, like, fabric and fur on top. You know, if you heavily use it, and, like, if you look at this, okay, also consider, right, that this is like a horse. So if you're, like, a little kid and you're pulling yourself onto the horse, this is what I bet, right? Like, this is what I'm guessing if you're, like, a 3 or 4-year-old. Like, because this looks like something a kid sits on top of. It's probably, like, pulling at the mane, and that probably erodes it over time, or it probably tore, right? Probably ripped. That's my guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds cursed, but it's, like, really what's underneath these things, all of them, all of these, like, robotic toys that spoke was, you know, creepy robotics underneath with, you know, eyeballs. They all looked like this right underneath, you know? It's just that nobody considers it until they see it.
I watched the skin and fur of the horse fall off. It didn't stop there though, it kept moving its head from side to side like normal. You could hear the whirs from the machine and the disfigured gnawing sound.
Yeah, because the toy, what's impressive, okay, is that these toys work for so long. Like, they literally work until, like, their gears stop. That's the crazy thing, right?
It made. I had a robot dog called Biscuit, whilst the size of a golden retriever, and during his later days...
This is the For Real Friends. That's what he looks like, just so you guys are aware.
For real friends.
began to turn on all by himself. So sometimes I'd randomly wake up in the middle of the night to Biscuit barking and my dog barking back because she had no fucking clue why he was barking.
The real dog's like, why won't you stop barking?
And why he was on a side. I had one of those fish things that ran out of batteries. Well, one day it decided to work again. Off and no batteries. And for a while, every time we went downstairs, we heard it. I could be making this up, but I think one time we threw it away and it appeared back in the basement.
I'm guessing the fish toy is like the ones that sing, that people have on the wall. Those ones.
Had this little mini farm set that could make animal noises. For some reason, one day it just broke and kept making distorted sounds.
Oh my god! Not the possessed farm creatures.
Randomly. It sounds fine at first, but you don't know how scary it was to hear the sound of a corrupted cow going, ooh.
Guys, that was totally me. Me before VTubing.
Morning. My siblings had this toy and it was a cat piano, but you can make it say words and record things. Somebody pushed the button too hard and it got stuck. Every time that my siblings would play with it, they'd turn on, it'll play its little music thing and it would automatically start.
This is how you control people. You control people when you were a kid with these, because you would just record something and it would play for next time.
Screaming. It was my screams that were playing. The only real memory I have of a toy doing weird stuff is when I was very little and there was this educational toy I had in the closet which I'd forgotten about. One time in the middle of the night I suddenly hear, what letter makes the sound? My grandma had a pen that played Homer Simpson voice lines when you pressed a button. It worked for about 5 years, but after a while when you pressed the button it just went
Oh, why did they make pens with voice lines? What in the world?
My little cousin doesn't have one of those talking Elmo things. When he was like 3 or so, he somehow managed to escape his crib. When his mum asked him how, he responded, "Elmo helped me," which was immediately followed by the Elmo giggling and saying, "Time to play with Elmo."
Hell no. I never understood the Elmo toys. The Tickle Me Elmo and stuff, those were always, like, creepy to me when I saw them.
Wasn't mine, but one of my friends' Tickle Me Elmo toy went off at 2 a.m. in the morning, where it just went off and played a song. He cried, and I think he pissed
Oh
himself.
my god.
I once had a robotic Elmo doll that would kick its leg up and do the roly-poly. One night it somehow got activated and started to do the roly-poly, but never said any of the voice lines. I was probably around 4 at the time, and this scared the living hell out of me, so naturally I bolted to my parents' room crying for help. At the time I didn't realise it, but they were embracing in the act of love as I walked in on them. My 7th grade math teacher had a Tickle Me Elmo on a shelf in his classroom. It was about 15 years old, I think. It hadn't worked for years, and he thought the batteries were dead as he hadn't replaced them for so long. And then it just randomly moved a little and let out that awful, nightmarish Elmo laugh. And after that, the head was positioned perfectly so that it was staring straight at me, deep into my soul, and it haunted me for the rest of the school year.
No. Nightmare fuel.
We'll end this video with one final Furby story. This one's quite a poignant one. I had one of the Reboot Furbies. A few months or so ago,
Reboot Furby?
my friend came over and we were playing with it, named it Gluten. The batteries or something were running out because Gluten would talk with a glitched gargle, and my friend kept torturing it by shaking it around and pulling its tail, making it puke until it died. I tried replacing the batteries, but it still won't turn on. Maybe the true monsters were us all along.
Dun dun dun! True. Maybe all of the people deserved it, chat. Maybe everyone deserved it. You know, the Furby finally decided to get its revenge, and it was sweet.